This is the skull right here. So the skull is made up of several flat bones. And here we see the frontal bone. Here we see the parietal bone. Here we see the occipital bone. Here we see the temporal bone and sphenoid bone here. This is the cranial vault right here, and I'm pointing to all this in here. This blue structure here, so here's a bone of the skull, which would be the parietal bone. This blue structure here is the dura mater encephalii. Blue structure is the dura mater encephalii. Now, this right here is the cerebrum. This is the cerebrum right here. The cerebrum is going to consist of the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe. Frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe. This is a fissure right here. This is called the transverse fissure, which separates the cerebrum from the cerebellum. So this is the cerebrum. It includes all the lobes I told you. And this is the cerebellum right here. Let's look at the inside of the brain here. And we can see some structures. So this white structure here, this is called the corpus callosum. This structure right here is the clear septum or the septum pellucidum. The clear septum or the septum pellucidum separates the two lateral ventricles. So this is the clear septum or the septum pellucidum. This structure right here is the fornix or the forniculum. And then we have the anterior commissure right here. Posterior commissure is right here, very close to the pineal body or pineal gland. And this right here is the middle commissure or the interthalamic connexion. So anterior commissure, middle commissure or interthalamic connexion, and then this structure right here next to the pineal body would be the posterior commissure. This structure right here that I'm circling around, that would be the thalamus. This triangle structure inferior to the thalamus would be the hypothalamus. Pituitary gland is not present, but you can see the pituitary gland right here. Here's the pituitary gland right here. Cerebral aqueduct. So you have 4 ventricles of the brain. So here's a lateral ventricle right here. Here's the 3rd ventricle where the thalamus area is. And here's the 4th ventricle right here. Right here would be the cerebral aqueduct. This little canal that the probe is going through. This is the cerebral aqueduct. 4th ventricle right here. This is the cerebellum right here. And we have the pineal body again right here. And we have the corpora quadrigimina or quadrigible plate, because there's 4 bodies. This would be this structure right here. Here's the corpora quadrigimana right here. And it's called that because there's 4 bodies. Here you can see 2 of them. If you had the other hemisphere, you'd be able to see the other 2. Let me show you that on this one. So right here we would see the corpora quadrigimana right here. This would be the pineal body. This is the cerebral aqueduct. And right here on the inferior side here, this would be the corpora quadrigimana. Show you that structure right there. Right there and right there. And arbor vitae of the cerebellum is right here. It looks like a tree structure. Pons is right here. Medulla oblongata is right here. So pons and then medulla oblongata. Mammillary body right there is mammillary body. And then the optic chiasm right here. The optic chiasm is associated with the optic nerves. Associated with vision. So here's your optic chiasm.